Okay. See if I can wait for some more people to show up here. Okay, someone new here. Okay, got some more people in now. Good. Alright. Today's stream is just going to be really short. I'm not exactly feeling up to par today, but I still wanted to be able to show off what I've done so far with the game. But anyways, the first thing is I have this new battle stance right here. You can see I like this a bit better than the previous one. The previous one looked a little bit too defensive. This one looks, to me at least, a little bit more confident. And then you can see over there with the Mischiefs, I have a new animation for them where they drop to all fours and run. Not so crazy about the transition between the two animations, but I can always change that later. And also the animation is now handled a little bit differently. If I can show it here. Now for this, it uses things I found out about called curves. You can see here, not really much of a curve, but that's because I want it to be a flat rate for this at least. And this is actually what essentially dictates the run speed of the character. And what's nice about this versus the way I was doing it before is that this only goes when the animation runs. With the other one, you end up with an effect where the character ends up sort of skiing across the ground, whereas with this, it's very different. If I can go into my script here, all I need to do here was add this little part to the character control code. It's just on animator move, and first of all checks if the character is grounded, and then it essentially runs what used to be the script that would run whenever you press the movement button, but instead what it does is like this essentially runs like whenever the animator goes, but what it does is essentially runs the same thing, but it takes this not that part, this part right here, the run speed variable, which is actually stored in the animator and is set by that curve value. So in other words, it takes that, whatever it is, if you're walking, it's a value of 1, and if you're running, it's a value of 2, and anything else is 0 right now. So if you're not doing anything, then you won't move at all. But it just takes that and it just runs everything based off of that. So you can see now, I'm like pressing the movement button over and over again, and instead of skiing, he sort of moves a slight step, but that's it. And when the animator is transitioning between the states, it doesn't do anything. See, so I'm pressing it over and over. Don't know if you can hear that, but used to be you just keep moving almost like you had it pressed down, except the character would be moving in between the two states constantly, and it just looked very I guess hacky is the word I would use. It's just very unprofessional, I suppose. So this definitely does that a whole lot better. Also, some changes I made were to the character rig itself, which was kind of annoying because I essentially had to re-import every single part that I'd made, because since I changed the skeleton that it was using, none of these things worked right anymore. So I needed to redo literally every single one of these. So that was a pain. But The biggest difference with that, see here, is that there is now a separate bone just for the weapon. You see this here, I can move it without actually moving the hand itself. But this is good because I would like to have some attacks that actually like have the weapon itself like moving or spinning or something, but without the character's hands having to move. Because previously the weapons were just bound directly to the main hand bone, which, I mean, if I wanted the weapons to just stay where they are in relation to the character, then, that'd be perfectly fine, but I want this to be a little bit more dynamic. As for the running on all fours, I'd like to have that so that it's mainly something that they'll do if you anger them. So, you hit, you attack one, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you have an entire stampede of them chasing after you, running like that. Oh, and actually, that's well, since all the characters use the same bone structure, anyways. The oops. Let's see here. The same thing also applies to Kala here. Looks kind of weird currently, but I do want to fine tune it a bit. But you can kind of see, like, I can actually have the weapon moved around independently, although it's still more or less parented onto the hand bone. It moves in relation to it. So, like, I could have a attack where, let's see here, like, yeah, like it'll just like have a spin around like this or something. That's just an idea for now, though, and I wanted to put that in place now rather than later, and it's a good thing that I did because it was enough of a pain in the butt to do it right now when I have, even just this few different pieces and parts. But those are the big changes, at least for right now. I am really glad that I discovered those animation curves. They really help a whole lot. It's better than trying to do what's called root motion, which is where you actually have the character's movement essentially being part of the animation. And it's really weird to say that, but I can demonstrate here. You essentially do like, in order to do root motion, you would actually physically move the character's skeleton and whatnot within the animation program. Make an animation out of that and then export it. And it moves the character in relation to how much they're going forward, backward in the particular animation loop. And I tried that before, and it's really kind of a pain, and it's also very imprecise because, like you can see here, the movement script isn't just a simple move forward. It actually does this part here called project on plane, and you can't really do that with root motion, but you can do that, luckily, with the animation curves. So that's a big plus right there. Yeah. So it's kind of like the advantages of both root motion and just hard coding it. But anyways, those are all the big things, at least for right now. I'll just end the stream right here. I guess I'm not feeling too good today, so I'm probably just going to relax after this. But hopefully I'll feel better tomorrow and we can have a normal stream again, because it's been a little bit too long since then. Had some bad weeks here and there, but anyways, I'll at least provide I'm not too busy tomorrow, since it is Mother's Day after all. But anyways, I'll see you all later.